everyone's been chasing the loudest coins, Solana, Ethereum, even meme coins like Bonk. But behind the scenes, Cardano or ADA has been building in the silence. And now it is starting to look like ADA might be one of the smartest long-term bets in all of crypto. With key regulatory wins now falling into place, strong speculation now swirling around Charles Hoskinson's government connections, and fresh price movement all kicking in, Cardano's next breakout might already be brewing. Welcome back to another episode of JRNY TV. My name's Nick, and this is where we break down the real stories behind crypto's biggest movers. Today we are diving into why Cardano or ADA is suddenly back on everyone's radar and why it could be gearing up for a return to all-time highs. We'll make sure to cover what makes Cardano or ADA one of the most fundamentally sound blockchains in this space today, how US regulation is currently shifting in its favor, and why ADA surged after the Clarity Act passed just last week. Plus, we've got fresh analyst predictions that'll make you think twice about sleeping on ADA. In the next section, we're going to be kicking things off with the basics. What is Cardano and why some investors are still calling it a top 5 bullish hold for 2025? What is Cardano and why is it a top 5 bullish hold for 2025? If you're newer to crypto, ADA, it might not seem flashy. No meme pumps, no chaotic drama, just quiet, consistent building. And that's exactly why seasoned investors love it. Founded by the one and only Charles Hoskinson, one of Ethereum's original co-founders, Cardano was designed to fix what Ethereum could not. It's a proof-of-stake blockchain that prioritizes peer-reviewed research, slow upgrades, and rock-solid security. Sounds boring? Maybe. But it builds empires. ADA, it runs on the Ouroboros protocol, one of the most mathematically robust consensus mechanisms in this space today. It's scalable, it's energy efficient, and it is definitely fully decentralized, without relying on rollups or centralized sequencers. And unlike a lot of fast-moving chains that have to sacrifice the reliability for speed, ADA's approach is all about the longevity. It's a slow burn, but the fundamentals are insanely strong. Now fast forward to 2025, while other chains have hit scaling issues or regulatory walls hard, ADA's infrastructure is ready, and adoption is creeping up fast across Africa, DeFi, NFTs, and even identity systems. There are thousands of native assets on-chain right now with real use cases all rolling out, and a developer ecosystem that has grown steadily year after year. It may not be the loudest project in the room, but it's one of the most resilient. That's exactly why so many analysts still list ADA as a top 5 bullish hold for this cycle. The tech is solid, the founder is still here, and now with global regulation shifting, ADA is finally stepping into the spotlight it has been quietly earning for years. Regulation, Hoskinson, and why it's all bullish for ADA. If you've been watching the regulatory side of crypto lately, you already know something huge just happened. The United States government just passed the Clarity for Digital Tokens Act, and it is changing everything. For Cardano, this is a dream scenario. The Clarity Act, it gives crypto projects a clean legal framework, essentially drawing a line between what counts as a security and what does not. No more vague SEC threats and no more legal limbo. So for a project like ADA, which has always focused on doing things by the book, this is the green light that ADA has been waiting for. And here is where it gets even more interesting. Founder Charles Hoskinson's name has been coming up more and more in Washington's circles. There's growing speculation that he may have been tapped to help advise on blockchain policy, or even take a more formal role in the shaping of the US government's digital asset strategy. So whether that actually happens or not, the message is clear. Hoskinson's voice is being heard from the top. And that alone gives Cardano a level of institutional and political credibility that most projects could only dream of. Right after the Clarity Act had passed, ADA spiked hard, posting double-digit gains within hours, and it wasn't just a relief rally. This was real momentum. Traders and long-term holders alike know this legislation opens the door for US-based adoption, corporate partnerships, and even ETFs down the line. Unfortunately, regulation has always been one of the biggest threats to altcoins. But for Cardano, it has just turned into a tailwind. With Charles Hoskinson potentially stepping into policy roles and the US officially embracing pro-crypto legislation, ADA is currently in one of the strongest positions that it's ever been in. This is not hopium. It is alignment between technology, leadership, and regulation. And that is rare. ADA price predictions and why analysts are turning bullish. So what's next for ADA price-wise? Well, let's just say that analysts are starting to wake up. After the Clarity Act just passed, Cardano saw a fast 12% bounce, and some are even calling it a start of a much bigger move. According to multiple research desks, ADA is now one of the most undervalued top 10 assets in the market, and if the regulatory tailwinds continue to hold, we could see ADA make a serious run at previous all-time highs. So right now, most price predictions for 2025, they are floating in the $1.50 range to $2.50 range, with some outliers even throwing out the $3 to $5 range if ETF speculation and mass adoption kick in. But it's not just the price targets, it's the why that's behind them. Cardano has clean tokenomics and a very loyal community, and zero legal baggage, might I add, which all make it one of the safest plays for institutional capital if the altcoin ETFs become a reality. Analysts are saying ADA, it could act as the Ethereum alternative for funds that want exposure to smart contract platforms, without the gas fee drama or the scalability concerns that Ethereum has. And with Cardano's long-term focus on global adoption and identity systems, there's actually utility that is baked into the price forecasts. Even some of the most staunch critics are now changing their tune. You've got former skeptics that are now admitting that Cardano's slow and steady approach might have actually been the smartest play all along. And now with policy clarity and momentum returning, ADA is starting to look like one of the best asymmetric bets in the entire market. So whether it hits $2 or $5, analysts, they all agree on one thing. ADA's upside in this cycle is way bigger than what's priced in right now. ADA's next chapter is just beginning. So here we are. While the rest of the market's been chasing hype and volatility, ADA's been building quietly, consistently, and now it's finally paying off, with the Clarity Act giving ADA the regulatory runway that it's always needed, and Charles Hoskinson possibly stepping into US policy discussions. The timing could not be better. The market is waking up. Institutions, they're watching, and ADA is showing signs of real life again. Price action is shifting, sentiment is turning, and analysts are now putting their targets higher than we have seen in over a year. If Cardano really is entering its next growth phase, we are early again. Whether it's $2 or $5, the path looks more real now than it ever has before. The quiet phase is over, and if this is truly Cardano's breakout cycle, it will not stay quiet for much longer. As always, keep those eyes open, stay ahead of the noise, and be sure to keep it locked right here on JRNY TV, because the biggest moves in crypto, they usually start when nobody is looking. We will catch you in the next one.